What have
Yeah.
you been up to?
Well, I mean, we've been doing what we can from here. I mean, I was in the office and on campus Tuesday of last week, but outside of that, we've just been doing these Zoom meetings with the players and trying to give them individual technical stuff to work on and that type of stuff.
So, do you have daily contact with the team?
I mean, we have daily contact either via text or email. Right now, in terms of actually physically talking to them, we've got like this week. Tomorrow they'll get an email that says what we would like them to see them be doing individually with the ball Monday through Friday. They also get a video analysis. So we went and broke up film from one of our games last year. I think it was the Seattle U game that we chose to go with, and they'll get a worksheet with that game, and so they'll go watch individual film and just try to continue to develop tactically. And then like next week, we're all of us get on Zoom together and watch a little bit of a professional game. And then Alyssa does her workout on so they can all log in and they can actually like do some aerobic stuff with her. So Josh is giving them strength stuff, every week. We've been putting some fitness stuff together, so we're having them run our fitness tests once a week. So yeah, I mean, we're just trying to do what we can, and obviously check in with them academically. And Jack's been doing a good job of that. So I mean, to be honest, they have all the resources that they have when they're on campus. They have them just remotely right now.
Is there any sort of timetable that you've been given as to when things might change?
No, zero, absolutely zero. So we do the lion's share of our recruiting in May, June, July are probably our biggest three recruiting months. A couple of national events have already been definitively canceled, so that's going to be. I feel bad, I mean, I feel bad for the kids that are juniors in high schools that like we were kind of using these next couple of events. I mean, they're pretty large scale national events where we were going to actually make decisions on some kids, and we don't have the ability to do that. I can't make a final decision until I see some kids play again, and I don't know when that's going to be. So I mean, they're kind of waiting in the wings. Like, do I have a spot on a UVU roster or don't I? And then I'm kind of sitting here going, I got to figure out what I'm going to do for my 21 class. So it's taking a toll on us recruiting wise. Um, the team, I feel like we had a ton of momentum going into spring break. Like, we did our whole 8-hour section or segment. And then we just got into our 20-hour segment, and we were playing really well. And like the only event that we were able to get in was we start the spring off every year with that Utah State 77 kind of mini tournament. And we were able to divide our roster into three separate teams, and all three of our teams, were in the semifinal of that little tournament. And then both two of our three teams played each other in the final of the tournament. So, we felt like we were really excited, and we thought our spring looked really, really good too, in terms of like we were going to play Utah, we were going to play UNLV, we were going to play, Boise State. So, we were going to play Utah State. So we had some really good games that were going to give us a great indication of, just where we were. So it's a bummer, and that's a really, really long answer to a short question. I have no clue. I don't have a clue in the world when this is going to end. I've heard rumors, and I have no idea if there's any validity to it, but that the NCAA may choose to. Well, let's assume that we have a healthy and safe environment. But in the case that it's a healthy and safe environment, the NCAA may choose to let us come back a couple of weeks earlier this upcoming fall. So as opposed to coming back, the beginning of August, maybe come back mid-July
Wow.
and make up for some of the time missed. So I mean, we essentially missed like 5-6 weeks of our spring season. If they would give us two back and let us come back a little bit earlier to get prepared, I think that would be beneficial. I've also heard, and I think this would make a ton of sense, that they may be able to give us an extra game. Therefore, we could add another exhibition game on the front end. So right now we're currently allowed 20 matches, before any of the playoff stuff starts. If they give us 21, I've already lined up a local, exhibition game. So a second exhibition game, we would be able to play two exhibition matches prior to, us kicking off officially against Cal State Northridge next year, and an extra game and an extra couple of weeks of training on the front end, I think would do us a lot of good, and it would make sense for, I think, most programs across the country. So I'm hoping that logic prevails, and they come up with something similar to that.
Well, I mean, it's hard to really, find some positive in all this craziness, but I guess the good thing is that you're not the only program that's going through this. And so you're not the only coaches trying to juggle through that. And so have you been talking with any other coaches, trying to see what they're up to at all? Any different things like that?
Yeah, and I've got obviously a ton of coaches, that are colleagues that are at other schools across the country, and everybody's doing the same thing. I mean, I was speaking to the UCSD, University of California, San Diego, that's just transitioning next year to Division I, and we're playing them. I was talking to one of their assistants yesterday. He's a good buddy of mine, and I coached with, and they're doing Zoom meetings and workouts in the family rooms, for the kids right now. So everybody's going through the same thing, and I think that's a great point. I mean, we're definitely, like, with our players, just stressing. I mean, this falls right into kind of what our mantra is anyway, and kind of what our culture is that we can only control what we can control. And this is, something that we can't. So now, in this time of kind of uncertainty, how do we choose to react to it? And we've talked a lot about that with the players. And I have a strong feeling that there will be some players across the country and some programs across the country that will kind of coast through this and take a break and, chill. And I think it's a great opportunity for those that are hungry to make up ground. And I explained that to some of the kids on our roster too, that, may want more time next year, or want to see a different role. And I'm like, well, there's no reason that you can't run. Because, in every state, in every county across the country, no one said that you can't run right now, or can't do push-ups, or can't do burpees, or can't, dribble the ball around your basement or your family room or in your driveway or in your garage. So I think that, some players could be opportunistic, and while, some may take a break, if they choose to utilize this as an opportunity to get better, then I think that they could reap some benefits.
What were some of your takeaways from last year, Coach?
It was kind of, we were satisfied in some regards, and so unsatisfied in others. I think that the program took good steps forward. I think we reacted well and bounced back from a terrible 2018. So that was positive, and I didn't have any worry that 2018 was who we are or what we were going to be. It was a tough year, and there were things that I could have done differently. There were things that if I had a chance to redo it, I would have probably taken a different approach in some regards. But the thing that was amazing with 2018, and I know you're asking about 19, but 18 led into 19, right? So the thing that was amazing about 18 is, even though the record was bad, we were in games, we continued to compete, and the chemistry and the team camaraderie stayed positive, even in a really kind of, from a wins and loss standpoint, tough year. And that's impressive, because more often than not, when you have that poor of a record, the locker room is typically in shambles. And that year, players still believed, and they kept, we trained well, and we still laughed, and we actually enjoyed ourselves, even though, despite the fact that it was very challenging. So leading into 19, I was convinced that the team was ready to right the wrong, and kind of right the ship, if you will. And we did, we had 11 wins, and, by a lot of program standards, a 10-win season is a successful year in women's soccer. That's just kind of a standard. It's kind of a bar, as if you can win 10 games in a year, you've had a good year. We won 11 games. We had more wins than losses. We certainly proved that we can play with some big time teams. I mean, I think we had the 30th toughest schedule in the country, and there's 340, I want to say 340 programs. So, I mean, to play the 30th, I mean, we played 3 teams that were in the NCAA Sweet 16. And, against Michigan, it was an overtime game. Against BYU, it was a 1-0, and we had chances. So we didn't just play those teams, but we competed with them, and we were in those matches. And not to say that, we should have won either of those games. I mean, we played against 2 really good opponents, but we certainly proved that we were gonna compete, and that was really good. I mean, Santa Clara unfortunately was lopsided, and they took it to us. But we were happy. But yet, with that being said, we against Seattle, we went up to Seattle. It was an interesting trip because we had to play Seattle twice in a 10-day period, and we stayed up there. We had an opportunity to get a share of the WAC regular season title with a win. A tie wouldn't do us any good. Sure enough, we found ourselves going into overtime tied. So at that point, we had a decision to make. Do we just, do we play it similar to how we'd play a regular season game in the middle of the year and try to win the game, but make sure that we, cover our bases and don't lose? Or do we just let it all hang out and play it like we're a goal down and we need to score in order to try to go, chase the title? I think you know me well enough, and people in this industry know me well enough that I chose the latter. And I said, you know what, like, if we lose, I don't care, but we're going to go try to win. I mean, because I know that we could have sat on a tie and got a tie out of that game. And had we done that, Cal Baptist wins the league, and what we get second. And if we go and we try to win it, Seattle, if they counter us and score, Seattle wins the league and we get second. Well, I don't like second. So we literally changed into 2 defenders, 3 in the midfield, and 5 up top. And so we went out there like we were down a goal, which we weren't. And we created some really good chances. Unfortunately, we got countered, and they scored with 13 seconds left to win the game, and then win the conference. So that was an interesting game. And then we turn around, we beat UMKC in the semifinal of the WAC tournament, and we beat them pretty comfortably, to be fair, which was awesome because ironically that's the only team that since I've been here, and since 2017, we hadn't beaten, was UMKC. So I was really happy to actually get that opportunity with them transitioning out of the WAC. People were saying, would you rather UMKC in the semi, or would you rather Grand Canyon? And I wanted UMKC just for the opportunity to beat them and kind of say, hey, thanks for being a part of the conference, and we'll see your way out a little bit. So we won that game, which was great. And then we went into Seattle yet again, and we went up again. So we were I want to say it was I think we went up because in the first game, in the league final game in the league, I think they went up and then we came back. This one, I think we went up. So we're up 1-0 at halftime. They tie it super late to make it 1-1, and then unfortunately they beat us again in overtime. And that one we played the way that you should play it, and we didn't do anything wild to try to go win the game in overtime. We were very comfortable. Had it gone to penalty kicks, unfortunately, just the way it was. So to lose 2 overtime matches against Seattle in a matter of 10 days left us with a bad taste in our mouth. After a good season overall, we didn't get to the NCAA tournament. We didn't win the WAC tournament, and for that we were disappointed.
What you're heading into your 4th year here at UVU, which is kind of crazy seeing how fast it's gone. What have you learned about yourself as a head coach?
As an assistant, I was very ambitious to become a head coach, and a lot of my colleagues, a lot of people I spoke with talked about the transition, and they were right in a lot of regards that sliding, essentially six inches over on the bench, to that head spot. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with it. And with that being said, people were, when essentially the buck stops with me, right? When it comes to the final decisions, and I get to, take all the credit for all the failures and the missteps and all that good stuff. I'm comfortable doing that. Um, I was worried that a lot of people had said that it's difficult as a head coach to have the same kind of relationship with the players that you do as an assistant coach. And I understand that in so many regards, but I've found that to be a little untrue in my situation, and everybody's is different. And I'm thankful for it, because that's what I enjoy most about the job, is really, the ability to get to know and connect, and hopefully, have a positive impact on, the players' lives, not just soccer careers. And if it were as true as it was told to me, then I don't know that I'd enjoy my job as much as I do. But I've found a way, and maybe it's just unique to, either my personality or the way that, we approach it. But, I feel like I'm still, tight with the kids, and that part of it is what I enjoy most. And I wouldn't, I would have been disappointed but I was always a little bit hard headed. When people tell me that, I'm like, yeah, well, that won't be me. And luckily, I found myself in a situation where, I've got a really good relationship with the players, and I think that's a credit to my wife. I think it's a credit to my son. I think it's we have the team over to the house often. We do film at the house. We do meals at the house. We do recruiting, at the house, official visits and whatnot. So my wife and son go to all the home and away games, that they can make, and all that kind of stuff. So we've created a really cool environment. There was some things that, we can go back to 18 again. I mean, I coming from the Pac-12, coming from a program that was typically in the top 25, and was always kind of flirting with the top 10 type program that I was at, and even before that at San Diego State. My 1 year at San Diego State, we had 21 wins, and we were the number 2 RPI team in the country. I was accustomed as a coach to be in the biggest environments, on the biggest stage, playing against the best players and coaches and teams in the country. And I was determined that was what we were going to do here at UVU, and we've done it. And but I've got to balance it sometimes too. Like, in 18, when we played 5 Power 5 teams in a row, and then 2 WCC teams, it was probably more than we should have bitten off at the time. So like, I think that we've scheduled it. I think we've balanced the schedule a little, and I've learned how to do that a little bit better, because I'm never gonna not have those games, on the schedule, because those are the kids we're recruiting anyway. We want kids that want to play in those environments and want to be at that level. So I can't go get them if we're not playing those types of teams, and I'm not putting them in front of big crowds and in beautiful stadiums and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to continue to do that. But then I think it makes sense to, have some other games against, teams that maybe have similar resources to us, and, are at a more mid-major level to give us, maybe a better chance to get, a couple of results that are a bit favorable. So, I balanced that a little bit better the last couple of years, similar to what we're leading into this upcoming year. But, that's what I've learned. And being a head coach at the Division I levels is different than being a head coach at the club level. But I mean, I was a head coach my whole life at the club level, and and the level of club that I coached at, we were playing and vying for national championships, year in and year out. And so I wasn't unaccustomed to running the show, and and that's where my passion was anyway. I was a good assistant, but it was always it was a stepping stone. It was my end goal. And I've got buddies that are assistants at big time programs, and they don't have a desire to go anywhere else. They're happy as could be to be at a team that, is winning national championships or vying for them, and you know, they love their role and their spot. It just wasn't me. Like I was a head coach in an assistant role, and I knew that, and you know, I was very fortunate that you know, UVU and me, we matched and we fit, and it ended up being, it's amazing how many head coaching positions I interviewed for. And to be honest, I felt like I was second place all the time. It was crazy. And then I didn't know much about Utah Valley. And when this opportunity came and the more I learned, I was really excited about it. And everyone, you know, my family and, you know, personal friends and other coaches are like, you know, what's meant to be will be, and the right one will come around. And it's wild how correct that was with this situation for me, because I couldn't be more happy at Utah Valley. And I love my team. I love the support from the administration. I love the ambition from the athletic department. I think we've got, you know, unbelievable athletic director. So, you know, I couldn't, like, I'm sitting here 3 years later, just absolutely feeling blessed that this happened for me.
Well, Coach, we're blessed to have you at the program. And has Van gotten you hooked on any video games during this time at all?
You know, he's different. You know, he doesn't love video games, which is amazing. We just put a pickleball court in the backyard that literally was finished like 2 weeks ago, so it couldn't have been better timing. So we're back there hitting the pickleball, and I had never played, but we got, I mean, it was like a perfect spacing, and so we were able to pour the concrete and do all that. So we're doing that. I think my dogs are actually tired of going on walks because we do that so much. But it's amazing what we've kind of discovered right in our backyard that we didn't know was here. I mean, some trails and whatnot that my wife and son and I had never been on, and find out that, you know, Googling, hey, dog friendly trails in Salt Lake County, and all of a sudden we're seeing parts of Utah that are miles from our house that we had never seen in 3 years. And so it's that part of it's been kind of cool, you know, just trying to make the most of the situation from a family standpoint as well. And I've become a homeschool teacher, which is, you know, my son and I are sharing this home office that I'm sitting in right now, and I'm doing my work and making sure he's doing his. So, you know, it's been all right.
I was talking with Jason, and he said that he was going to maybe try and set up a FIFA challenge or something between me and you, or Greg Moss or somebody. When was the last time you played a video game?
You know, my favorite video game is Mario Kart.
Okay.
I love racing. But no, I would say probably not this past Christmas, but the Christmas prior to that. We had the whole family here, and we had Van's got the Nintendo Switch. So, you know, we hooked up 4 controllers and we were playing FIFA and Mario Kart. Those are our 2 games. So that's what we play.
Good stuff, Coach. Well, thanks for taking the time to chat with us, and glad that you guys are staying safe.